Okay, so let's talk about something, a real mystery that I think plagues even the most careful gardeners. You feel like you've done everything right, your plants are looking amazing, but then, bam, disaster strikes in the most frustrating way. I mean, you can just picture this scene, can't you? It is that moment of pure gardening heartbreak. The plant itself is lush, it's green, it looks perfect, but the fruit, the very thing you've been waiting for, is completely ruined. It almost feels like the plant is betraying you. And that right there is the central question we are going to dig into today. How in the world can a plant that looks so healthy on the outside be failing so spectacularly on the inside? It's like a classic whodunit, really. And I'm telling you, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. Now, what's really fascinating here is that this isn't just some tomato problem. Not at all. From that brown, crispy tip burn on your lettuce to weak, flimsy heads on your cabbage, or even curled up new leaves, all of these things that seem totally unrelated, they're all symptoms pointing to the exact same hidden culprit, a calcium deficiency. So, to solve this mystery, we really have to understand the main character in this story, calcium. And it's so much more than just another nutrient on the list. You could say it's kind of like the fundamental architect of the entire plant. This is honestly the best way to think about it. Calcium is literally the cement that holds the bricks, the plant cells, together. So without a steady, constant supply of this cement, the whole structure gets weak. And it's especially weak in the new construction zones, right? Like developing fruits or brand new leaves. And here is a super crucial clue. Unlike a lot of other nutrients, calcium is immobile. That means once the plant uses it to build, say, an older leaf, it's locked in place. It's stuck there. It can't be pulled from that old leaf to help out a new tomato that's forming. This means all the new growth is completely 100% dependent on a fresh, constant supply coming up from the roots. Any interruption in that supply is a crisis. Okay, so the problem is a lack of calcium in the new growth. The obvious solution, then, is to just add more calcium to the soil, right? Well, get ready for a major plot twist, because that is almost never the real issue. And this just perfectly illustrates the heart of the mystery. You could go out and test your soil and find that it is packed, absolutely loaded with calcium, and yet your plants are still showing all the classic signs of deficiency. The culprit isn't a lack of resources out there in the soil. This is that moment where everything just pivots. I mean, if the calcium is right there, sitting in the soil, but it's not making it to the fruit, what is actually going on? What's blocking the supply chain? And there it is. The problem isn't supply, it's logistics. The plant has this amazing calcium transport system, and it's powered by water moving up from the roots. But for some reason, that system has broken down. The cement is sitting there at the construction site, but the workers just can't get it up to the top floor where it's needed. So let's just lay this out plain and simple. The myth is that you have a soil deficiency. The reality is that you have a plant-wide delivery failure, and that means dumping more calcium on the soil is like adding more packages to a warehouse that has no delivery trucks. It's useless. The real solution is to fix the trucks. Okay, so now that we've identified the crime, a failure of transport, we can start looking for the accomplices. What are the specific conditions that are sabotaging the plant's internal delivery system? And here they are. This is the lineup. The number one culprit almost always is inconsistent watering. Those cycles of bone dry and then totally flooded, it just creates chaos. But it's not the only one. If you have poor root health because of compacted soil, the plant just can't pull up water efficiently. And using way too much nitrogen fertilizer, well, that's like hitting a turbo boost, forcing the plant to grow so fast it literally outpaces its own calcium supply line. So the huge takeaway here is that we need to stop treating the symptom and start fixing the system. The solution isn't some quick fix you can buy in a bottle. It's all about creating a stable, healthy environment for the plant to live in. And that brings us to our prevention plan. First and foremost, consistent moisture is everything. It's non-negotiable. That's what keeps the calcium transport system running like a well-oiled machine. And mulch is your best friend for achieving that consistency. Next, use a balanced fertilizer, not something that's just overloaded with nitrogen. And finally, really focus on creating healthy, fluffy, uncompacted soil that promotes strong roots. Honestly, these 4 steps will solve 90% of the problem right there. Now, of course, there are some other supporting tools. If it turns out your soil really is low in calcium, or maybe it's very acidic, then soil amendments like lime or gypsum are perfect. And for a real emergency, a foliar spray can act as a temporary band-aid, getting calcium directly onto the leaves and fruit right now. But you gotta remember, these are here to support the main plan. They absolutely do not replace it. This right here, this is the single most important sentence from this entire explainer. If you can really let this one sink in, it completely changes how you look at your garden. You stop searching for some magic fertilizer and you start focusing on the health of the entire ecosystem your plant is living in. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. And not just for blossom and rot, but really for every challenge you face in your garden or on your farm. The next time you see a problem, just ask yourself, am I just putting a band-aid on a symptom? Or am I taking a step back to understand and solve the root cause within the entire system? Trust me, the answer will change everything.